My name is Erepe. In 2011, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, which is a degenerating disease. It affects your memory, it affects, you have paralysis. I have partial paralysis on my left side. It affects quite a number of things, and you have extreme fatigue and depression. For a long time, I didn't know how to handle being a mother, going to work, being a wife, and managing multiple sclerosis. I have 3 children, 3 girls, 9, 7, and 2. I'm married to Mr. Bello, Mr. B, and we've been married for slightly over 10 years. I work in an oil company in the procurement department, so it's quite hectic. And marriage for the last 10 years hasn't been the bed of roses that I thought it was going to be. I grew up in my marriage. I became a hustler in my marriage. I grew a backbone in my marriage. And I wanted to leave quite a number of times, actually. And I realized that no one has the answer for you. You can go to as many pastors as you want, many prayer houses as you want, you can do, but no one has the answer. No human being has the answer. At the end of the day, you have to decide what you want to do, and God backs you up. It's a decision. In 2011, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, which is a degenerating disease. It affects your memory, it affects, you have paralysis. I have partial paralysis on my left side. It affects quite a number of things, and you have extreme fatigue and depression. For a long time, I didn't know how to handle being a mother, going to work, being a wife, and managing multiple sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis on its own is a tedious process. Being a mother is a tedious, each department is a process. It's a section on its own. Having to merge all of them together was a task I felt I would not be able to achieve. And I went into depression. I still go into depression, in and out. And no one understands what you go through. No one understands what you go through as a mother, working mother, needing your space, needing peace and quiet. And then to top that up, no one even understands what you go through with MS and being a mother. You don't have temperature. You don't have things popping out of your body. So no one can see it, but you know what you're going through. And trying to educate people to be able to help you, it's very difficult, especially in our society. Abroad, people with MS, they quit their jobs. They go, they take part-time jobs. Some of them just go on the NHS or whatever support they can have. But here it's not like that. Here they believe someone threw an arrow from somewhere, or use a figment of your imagination, or get over it and move on, which has its own place in our society, but it doesn't work with things like this. And over the years, even my family, I've had to educate them, and even my husband, I've had to educate. And I got to a point where I had to say enough. I first, everyone else second and third and fourth. Find your space. I had to take care of me first. I had to do me first, at work, at home, in my relationship with my husband. We're still trying to find our feet because he still doesn't really and truly understand why my hand can't work, or why I have to use a walking stick, or why I forget things, or why I'm extremely tired, I can not even get out of bed, or why I'm pretty much in a comatose state. They don't get it, and I don't blame them. They can't walk in my shoes. I don't want them to walk in my shoes, you know. But the day-to-day struggle of looking at my children and knowing that I have to be alive for them, not just through the illness, surviving the marriage itself, showing them that I can do this so that they can do it also. It's a lot of pressure. It is a lot of pressure on any human being. If you just permit me to just even remove the disease, the illness, I don't like to call it a disease, the illness aside, just the pressure of having to accommodate another human being, deal with their idiosyncrasies, and not being able to manage yourselves on the same platform, it's a lot of pressure on a woman. And most women go through depression much more than you can ever imagine. But we have this ability of putting up, slapping on our face, getting up and going to work, or our day-to-day activities, because especially in our society, you can't go and complain. They'll tell you it's your cross, carry it. They'll tell you you signed the agreement. You know, it's you have to make it work. And oh, he beat you. Okay, yeah, Joe, you must have done something wrong. He must have spoken out of turn. Okay, he's not bringing money. Okay, you bring money too now. It's a joint agreement. And the woman just wants to die. And I don't think we really truly understand the pressure it takes to be able to go through this on a day-to-day basis. For me, in all honesty, I've thought of ending it quite a few times. Not just my marriage, just leaving, just going where I don't know, or not just waking up the next morning. But I have come to understand that having a good support system is very, very important. No matter what you're going through in your marriage, if you have an illness like me or whatever it is and nobody understands, you have to first of all make the decision to inform the people around you. They may not understand it the first time, the second time, the third time, but you just keep talking and you just keep explaining and you just keep educating them about what you are going through. Do not keep quiet. You have to find that one person. It doesn't have to be your pastor's wife. Please, let not be disillusioned. Not all of them have the answers. I'm sorry to say. You find someone. It might be an old girlfriend who just understands or who just gets you and who just is ready to take you for Coke and Gala and paint your nails red. She gets it. She understands it. Find that one person and be each other's back to back. It helps. But before you do this, you have to decide what you want to do. Stay, go. You cannot get advice if you don't know what you want to do. You need to know what you want and then find the people to help you along the way. For me, I had to tell my husband, I can't be a superwoman for you guys anymore because I physically can't do it. My brain can, but my body can't move at the same pace as my brain. Coming back from an 8-hour, 9-hour, sometimes 10-hour job to meet the needs of my little children and to meet my husband's needs, it's enough for a normal person, but to couple it with someone who has MS is groundbreaking. It's excruciatingly painful daily, but you have to do it. For me, I get my sustenance from relying on my faith. I've relied on human beings and they failed me over and over again. So there's no point. I have no expectations from anybody. My Holy Spirit is my gisting partner. He's the only one that I rely on, literally. But whatever works for you, for me, that's what works for me. And that's how I've been able to sustain 10 years, 10 plus years. I've had this illness for 8 years out of my 10 years in marriage. So you can see that it's pretty much from the beginning. And it's painful, but it's also knowing that I overcome every day. Every day. I overcome every day. And that gives me a lot of joy. That gives me a lot of peace. I look at my children and I can see I am still there for them, and I will continue to be there for them, to be their strength, to be their source of guidance, even for my husband. And he looks at me sometimes and wonders where I get the strength from to be able to do this on a day-to-day. Most people give up. Most people commit suicide with MS. The percentage of people who have gone into a long period of depression or suicide, who have committed suicide, the percentages are quite large, quite high. But we keep pushing every day. So for those of you, if you know anyone who's suffering from depression, either from marriage or from a disease or from a combination of both, you need to talk to them. Talk to them. Ask them. Sometimes they wouldn't want to say. The pressure is so much that they wouldn't want to say. Talk to them. Find out what's going on. And don't talk at them. Don't feel like you need to give them advice. Just be there. It's enough. Trust me. Just knowing that, oh, she or he is not going anywhere. Time will tell, and they will start opening up, and they will start divulging stuff that they wouldn't tell anyone else. I've had to tell people my deepest, darkest fears that I couldn't even voice out to myself for fear that it would happen. But knowing that that one person was there. I have wonderful sisters. I have sisters who understand and who carry me along, who carry my issue along, and we do that with each other. And that helps. But if you don't have that, find someone. There must be someone. If you can't find them, come to me. I'm always available. Because I understand what it's like not having someone there or who understands what you're going through. It's pretty dicey. But there's always somebody. There's always someone in the world. There's always someone. You just need to find them. Don't be afraid to look for them. Because you're talking about you need your sanity. I can't tell you how many times I have shouted to an empty room or cried, and then knowing that I have to clean my tears before my kids come in. But now, I don't want to put up a brave face. It's okay for me to just do what I need to do. If I need to cry, I will cry. And when I'm done, then I move on. And it helps. So whatever works, you need to get it done. Find that one person. Talk to them. Like I said, if you can't find them, call me. So yes, that's basically been my struggle or my journey for the last 8 years, 10 years. So what I decided to do was create a platform where an awareness for things like this, for people to know MS is real. It's not a figment of their imagination. Tell you your symptoms, so in case you have it, you know what it is, you know what to do, and stuff like that. It was my little way of contributing to whoever, wherever they are. And it's on Instagram. It's called MS Awareness in Nigeria, basically. We just talk about MS. That's all we do. But MS is more rampant in Nigeria than we know. and we don't have the platform or the doctors to diagnose it properly. I wasn't diagnosed properly. They told me I had a stroke, but I didn't have a stroke. I had MS. And I've met married women who are going through it, and their husbands have left. I've met married men who are going through it, and their wives have left. So it's not easy to be able to handle the two together. But all in all, with or without MS in a marriage, always find someone to be able to talk to. Always find somebody to be able to, that meets, understands your needs, and understands what you want, and understands what you want to do, whether it's your children or your husband or yourself. Just find that platform and stay there, because there's strength in numbers. I'm a firm believer that there's strength in numbers, because what you can't do for yourself, there's always somebody. It's not a cliche, it actually does work. I'm a living witness that it does work. It's not a cliche, it does work. There's strength in numbers, especially when the people are in tune or in an alignment. You guys are in sync with each other. It works.